Greetings, my fellow freedom-loving sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LL3 Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the wild, wonderful Mountain State, and today's date is Thursday, August 26, 2021. Oh, yeah, so this one here, I'm going to make a brief. I'm not going to do a rant, on current events and so forth. So let's just cut to the chase. And I just like scoping around. Let me see what the New American has to say. Their information has always been good, regardless what you agree with them or not. But this one is a legit. It's legit, and it makes a lot of sense. Unasked obvious questions. Why aren't Muslim countries taking the Afghan refugees? This was written by Selwyn Duke. It came out yesterday. As it reads here, as Joe Biden takes the lead to the Taliban, and it has been suggested that we absorb millions of Afghan migrants, a simple question is largely unasked. Why aren't Muslim countries stepping forward to take care of their co-religiousness? As American Thinker puts it, isn't it time they did? Actually, it's long past time. That is why I've actually been asking the above question for years in response to 2015's wave of Middle East migration into Europe. The rich, sparsely populated Gulf states such as Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Dubai, and the UAE aren't accepting their supposedly desperate co-religionists. I wrote in 2018, for an example, why are these Muslims shipped thousands of miles into the heart of East erstwhile Christendom? Making this case, American Thinker points out that while Afghanistan is a Muslim country, the Taliban's extreme approach to interpreting Islam makes it an outlier even by the standards of other Muslim countries. So considering the severe oppression many Muslims themselves will experience under Taliban reign. AT continues, should Islamic countries come to the rescue? AT then mentions that Afghanistan isn't alone as a country where Muslims are oppressed. The Chinese communists rounded up eager people and placed them in camps, for example. Then remember Darfur and the way the Sudanese Arab Muslims committed near genocide against the Darfuri black Muslims. AT asked, that's a question. AT asked, women and girls were gang raped and many Darfuris were brutally slaughtered, men, women, and children. The same happened to the southern black Sudanese who are Christian. In Iraq, 1.5 million Muslims have been martyred. We could also mention here the Syrian civil war victims. AT later punctuated its point. As thousands, if not millions of Muslims around the world are violently oppressed, why aren't Muslim countries coming to their rescue? Why are Muslims accepting individuals of gang rape of Muslim women and girls? Why don't Muslim countries care that billions of Muslims are brutally murdered and martyred? As Americans or Westerners, isn't it time to recognize that oppressed Muslims really need other Muslims to come to rescue them rather than placing the burden of infidels? America and other Western nations have a right to, indeed should, ask this invariably unasked question. They should challenge the Muslim world to take pity on oppressed Muslims around the world, especially in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Their fellow Muslims need their compassion and mercy as much as Allah's compassion and mercy. As with all questions, this one has an answer, at least a few of them, in fact. First, why should Muslim nations incur the cost, monetary and social, of absorbing refugees when they have Western nations to do it for them? The second reason relates to why the question is hardly asked, never mind answered. Migrants settled in Muslim nations can't becoming naturalized in our country, then both Democrat and leftists aren't going to pressure Islamic lands to take their future voters. Third reason concerns something revealed by self-proclaimed devout Muslim Dr. Badar Zaran, a Jordanian opposition coalition leader living as an asylee in Britain. I have to be honest, he said, discussing Europe's wave of Muslim migration in a 2015 interview. You read Arab magazines and Arab newspapers, and they are talking about, good job, now we're going to conquest Europe. So, it's not even a secret. This phenomenon, demographic jihad, has been mentioned by others as well. Cardo Bartaros Al-Rai, the Maronite patriarch of Antioch, said in 2015, I have often heard from Muslims that their goal is to conquer Europe with two weapons. And I hit that. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, two weapons: their faith and their birthright. Reported Breitbart. Even more blunt was Hungarian Bishop Lazio Kisrigo, who said in 2015 the migrants are not refugees. He continued, this is an invasion. They come here with the cries of Allahu Akbar. They want to take over related Christianity today. Insofar as the United States goes, it's one thing to admit a small number of Afghans who risk their lives helping our cause and whom we promise to protect. That's moral and honor, orient imperative. But even then, they must be vetted carefully, as the American Veteran Stories informs. Beyond that, though, we should remember that Afghans may make the least sensible of all immigrants or migrants. Afghanistan is a tribal society rife with violence where disputes are often settled with blood feuds. Bakabazi, boy play, ritualized pedophilia, and pederasty is common, and the victims may grow up to be psychologically scarred victimizers. Daughters may be denied education or health care and may be sold to settle debts, or even executed by their own relatives for minor infractions against the tribe, while sons may be encouraged to carry out suicide attacks. Immigration really is a number game, too. Consider the rare Muslims who contemplated going to the West many decades ago had to be a different kind of Muslim, one who understood he was entering a Christian culture that wouldn't cater to his desires. He and his co-religiousness would be so few and far between, there be no prospect for halal groceries, the Islamic interest-free financing, or Muslim schools for his children. So he'd be forced to assimilate by having to work within host nations' established institutions. But great numbers of Muslim immigrants will form their own enclaves and their own institutions. This reality not only makes the journey west more inviting to zealous Muslims, but also enables them to reinforce each other's beliefs. And what are those beliefs? A 2013 Pew Research Center survey found that 99% of Afghans want Sharia as an official law of the land, and that 61% state it should apply to non-Muslims as well. That 79% belief leaving Islam warrants the death penalty, and that 40% say suicide bombings are justified in order to defend Islam against its enemies. And why wouldn't they say that? 73% of Afghans believe Sharia is a revealed word of God. So the whole thing is, you're going to have them conscript their ways into charter territory and tell others how to think and so forth. This is pretty damn dangerous when you look at it. And the thing is too, with Sharia law, it's trying to mix with church and state, and we don't have that based on the First Amendment of our U.S. Constitution. That's a fact. And plus, John Jay warned us about this on the dangers of foreign influences on Federalist Papers 2 through 5. I recommend folks check that out and give us a heads up on it. And so did George Washington. Even himself, when they asked him about Muslims, he goes, hey, they could come as long as they behave like everyone else. So that is the question to all those nations over there. That was addressed aforementioned in this article. How come you're not bringing them in? We all know one thing. They're part of the global order. Not the core, but they are a representative of that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go condemning people for being Muslims, because I do remember learning about Assad from Syria, and of course Gaddafi, who was the leader of Libya. And one of the guys I read about them, I learned from them, Sharia law, even though they're Muslims, but Sharia law were illegal in their countries. You gotta look at that angle too. Everyone has a different culture, and if you gotta go and manifest in someone else's lair, that's called derision. And that's how individuals like them, for example, not all, but a great amount, according to this article, they want to put contempt on others, violate their space. And that's unacceptable. It's just another example of what the order wants. Total dominance, use them as a pawns, then terminate them when that time comes. One big ripple effect. And that will be it. I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share this throughout your social media network. If you have any questions, comments, or something that's interesting to check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence to the quorum. Furthermore, I will put the footnote of this article on my speaker page. And if you want to contact me, you go to LokiLuck03 at protonmail.com. You want to do a donation, you can go to paypal.me or cash.app/LokiLuck3. If you want to support the New American, donations and subscribe, that will be greatly appreciated. All right, folks. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.